I'm driving in my Tesla, and I'm making a quick video to explain to you guys what I think is going on with Tesla stock. If you think you know, please let me know in the comments. Let's see if I can get over here. Alright, I gotta turn that off. Alright, let me know in the comments. I'm gonna stop driving here in just a minute. But as you guys may or may not know, the stock has exploded recently. And because of that, it's almost reached $1,000 a share in recent weeks. And actually, it kind of went up there about a week or so ago when I made an emergency video. Let me wait for my autopilot on. There we go. When I made my emergency video, but it dipped back down again, but now it's back up, and it closed over $900 a share yesterday. It was the first time it's ever closed over $900 a share. So, what exactly is going on? And you can see here my autopilot's driving me. Well, this, if you're not familiar with Tesla, and this is really maybe a video for everybody, people who are not familiar with Tesla, people who are. As you can see, my car, for the most of this drive, has been driving by itself, and that's pretty impressive. As soon as I get somewhere I can stop, I'm going to turn the camera around. But it can't do these parking lots, although it can do the smart summon from parking lots, and it can do the little thing with the key fob where I make it go forward and reverse and pull it in and out of parking spots. It can do all of that. But anyway, there are a lot of things it still can't do. But what is going on with Tesla? Why is it so high? Well, as you guys may or may not know, if you're familiar with investing, stock prices are the present value of future earnings. That is the definition of a stock price, a market stock price. It's like the market telling you what it thinks things will soon be worth in the near future. And here we go. This is a good spot. Let me flip the camera around. So in terms of how Tesla is, the market's got it valued right now at a pretty high rate. But why? First of all, Tesla should not be considered like a regular car company. Regular car companies in the past have been, all the naysayers have said, like, hey, it's a low-profit business. You really have to do all this volume. You've got all these dealer networks. You've got all these middlemen people. So Elon Musk is pretty smart, and he's kind of factored most of that stuff out of the equation. So, for instance, if you're not familiar with Tesla, there is no dealer network. When you buy a Tesla, you're always buying directly from the company. There is no dealer. Like I've talked to people recently, and they say, like, well, I got to go to the dealer. I got to do this with the Tesla dealer. That's like saying you're filming something. Okay, that's a thing from the past. With Tesla, there are no dealers. There is just either what they call a showroom or a Tesla store, which could be anywhere because Tesla doesn't have any inventory. They just pretty much produce every single car they make, and occasionally they will have something available that for one reason or another they got their hands on and need to sell. But that's the exact opposite of other car dealers. So Teslas, of course, are electric cars. They can have their cars anywhere, inside of shopping malls, inside of any indoor buildings. It won't kill anybody with the car exhaust. People don't even think about that for the most part. But they can have these showrooms anywhere with their vehicles, literally anywhere, and move their vehicles without any problem. So there's either showrooms, stores, or service centers. And the service centers are where you go to get your car repaired. And unfortunately, right now, they haven't really added a lot of service centers in recent years, and they've ramped up the volume. So that's a key issue with Tesla. I'd say that's the number one issue with Tesla right now. But in spite of the fact that their service is for the most part, when I say the most part, I'd say anyone who's out of warranty right now, because if you're a new customer, I think they still treat you like gold as much as they can, which is great. But if you are out of warranty, you're SOL basically. I'm out of warranty, and their scheduling is terrible. There's so many things that are terrible, but I can see the light at the end of this tunnel. They don't have enough service centers. They don't have enough staff. They don't have enough bandwidth to take care of what they need to take care of. And only Tesla can fix their cars. They don't release their information to other people. That's a whole other story in itself. Tesla's kind of like Apple, where they don't want anyone to get into their devices or products. And that's another reason why they're skyrocketing, because they're more of a software company than a traditional automotive company. And not only are they a software company, They are a battery company. Not only are they a battery company, they build power walls, right? These power walls are like basically backup generators for your house. Don't require generators. They just keep charging your battery pack in your house off the grid, so that when you do lose your grid power, you can just use this battery power. No emissions, no noise, nothing. You guys may have some of those. If you do, let comment below. Let me know your experience with those. But let's see, what else? Solar panels. They have solar panels. They have traditional solar panels. They have solar panels that look just like tile roofs, which are just as expensive as tile roofs. And most people out there don't have tile roofs, so don't fall for their little scheme or the little talk that it's the same price as a traditional roof. It's the same price as an expensive tile roof, which most people don't have because they can't afford it. But again, I'm going to look at this from both sides. I'm not in the Tesla church. I wouldn't consider myself a diehard Tesla fanboy, although I'm definitely a fan, but I'm being realistic, and you have to be. But even when you're being realistic, you can still make a case for the valuation of Tesla because it's the present value of future earnings. I've just named a number of things, right? They own every single location. There is no middleman dealer. So I think they're just renting now, but they're probably going to be purchasing a lot of real estate. They own a lot of stuff with gigafactories, big factories, large pieces of land. They own a lot of real estate. They're going to start to compile more real estate. And of course, if you're watching this on some of my groups online, you may be watching it in my robo-taxi group. You may be watching it in my full level 5 self-driving group. This is a whole other component to Tesla that no other auto manufacturer has. Every single Tesla is connected to the internet all the time. They always have, except for the original generation Roadster, which they no longer support. If you guys don't know that, they kind of dropped support of the original Roadster a few years ago, made an announcement, and so every single regular Tesla car that's supported is connected to the internet. Now, every single Tesla car that's out there does not have the capability of doing full level 5 self-driving or robotaxi service, and that is an income-producing service that Elon Musk says will make Tesla cars and trucks appreciating assets. Okay, do you believe that? Let me know in the comments. I actually kind of sort of believe that, at least to a point. I think that maybe they won't be appreciating assets, but they won't ever sink below a certain level of value, because just kind of like real estate, and I'm in real estate, when you buy real estate, you're not buying a home or a commercial building. You're buying a bundle of rights, okay, when you buy. That's what you're paying for. Yeah, there might happen to be a building, or there might happen to not be a building. It might be a mess. It might be perfect. But what you're paying for is the market value of that bundle of rights that you're buying. So it tends to go up over time, although it requires, payment of taxes, maintenance, things like that. It can fall into disrepair. You may need to destroy any buildings that are on there if you're talking about real estate. But the same is true with Tesla cars, I believe, that they likely will be appreciating assets. I don't know exactly how or how much. Let me know if you guys have any opinions on that. But I do know that you're buying a bundle of rights. You're buying a bundle of systems. And this is what I've commented before on in my YouTube videos. And if you guys aren't familiar, please subscribe to my channel. It is called adigitalnomad.net. That's adigitalnomad.net. Just type it in any browser, and you will go straight to my YouTube channel. You can subscribe there. But we talk about this. This has got me fascinated before I bought the car and after I bought it. And I've always thought that the stock would go up, but I never thought it would go up this fast and to these levels in such a short period of time. I mean, if you look at some of my videos, I think I predicted like $800 a share or $400 a share, maybe by the end of next year or something like that. Not $900 or $1,000 a share right now. That is just crazy. I mean, but is it rational? Is it the value? Is it the market value? Is it the market value of this company that is basically developing not just a new product, but a new type of asset? There are many new types of assets that are out there because of the digital era. Your audience is now an asset. And it always was an asset, but it was hard to point your finger on that, or hard to maybe connect with your audience. But now, because of digital stuff, like you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, right? Digitalnomad.net, there's my plug. Subscribe. But then I can reach my audience. My audience is connected to me. So, I mean, directly connected to me in a way that wasn't done in the past. So Tesla cars, this product that they're building, the one that I'm talking to you in right now, they are a bundle of rights, systems. And of course, these rights are different depending upon which model you have, but all the models produced now are capable of full level 5 self-driving. And every model produced since about October of 2016 is capable of that. So any Tesla, let's say, like, forget the original Roadster, it's not supported anymore, but they started building the Model S in 2012 and built that all the way up to 2016. There weren't all that many copies built compared to what Tesla's doing on a yearly basis right now, but there are many of them out there. And they have some advantages and disadvantages which allow them to hold their value. And this is, I'm telling you this because this is so vastly different than in a traditional automaker, an ICE company, internal combustion engine, diesel, gas, whatever, propane, whatever you want to call it, hybrid, anything that's got a combustion engine in it. I mean, you don't have to do this with pure electric cars like Tesla is, but it's a lot easier, makes a lot more sense. You could do this with other cars, ICE cars, but nobody's doing it. So any Model S built before October 2016 is not and will never be able to, according to Elon Musk, be full level 5 self-driving. However, they do have some advantages in which every car built before that time has free, unlimited electricity for the life of the vehicle as long as you plug it into a supercharger. And there are more and more superchargers everywhere these days, so that is a nice value. I think they thought about all this when they were doing all of this. I think that they just had everybody blindsided. They thought about this so well, and the more I think about it, I'm like, wow, this is just genius, because it's going to allow those cars to hold value, and somebody's going to figure out how to make these cars self-driving. Tesla probably won't support it, and they just made an announcement, for instance, that they will no longer allow you to supercharge a car that has been, I think, was it scrapped or totaled, or there's a word for it. I can't remember in the automotive industry. Whatever it is, there's a name. You guys know what it is? Please comment below. I can't remember this one single word term. But anyway, back to what I was saying. Why is Tesla stock so high? Why is it almost $1,000 a share? When will it be $1,000 a share? I think it'll be soon. I mean, some people are saying, okay, it's time to short Tesla stock. Get in there. Look, it's almost $1,000 a share. This is totally irrational. I don't think anybody knows. I think we're in totally uncharted territory right now, at least with this company. I think this company, as everyone knows, is a disruptor and has the potential to destroy so much of what's going on with the original traditional ICE manufacturers. In fact, put a tremendous amount of them out of business, make them non-competitive, in my mind. So that just means you're going to keep grabbing more and more share from traditional automakers. And if you guys don't know already, Tesla is already the #2 most valuable automaker in the world. They are the most valuable American car company ever in terms of total stock value out there. The only person that's ahead of them in the world is Toyota, and they're closing in on Toyota. Toyota, anybody knows anything about Toyota knows that Toyota doesn't even have one single electric vehicle. So they're in trouble. They're in big trouble. I can see why Toyota's hanging on. It's kind of like how the cigarette industries are hanging on and other industries that are in decline. They are just kind of grabbing on to the less competitive markets, less developed countries. They've got huge shares over there, but as soon as Tesla's infrastructure gets there, as soon as SpaceX launches their satellite 5G and you can get it anywhere, all these cars will be connected. And you don't even need, I don't think you really need this full internet connection to allow self-driving to work, but let me know in the comments. Actually, let me see the sun starting to come out. I just want to knock down my air conditioning. Okay. Let me know in the comments. I think that you saw my stuff works, and it does work even if I don't have internet connection. So, it's a pretty ingenious system. Now let me talk about the systems that are in the car. Okay, first of all, if you guys don't know, every Tesla is connected to the internet all the time. Tesla pays the bill. Now that may change as we go forward. They're starting to slow down on some of the features like the satellite radio, the like Spotify and different streaming audio. They're starting to make those paid services. They'll probably limit the data at some point to where you can't have it'll be metered, but again, they're grandfathering everybody in as they go, so that's holding up the value of their older cars. And so some of the systems they have a full suite of sensors which will allow the upgrade to full level 5 self-driving, according to Elon Musk, if you believe him. Supposedly all they need to do is upgrade the computers. Maybe they'll need to have some better cameras, I don't know, but all this stuff is more plug and play, so they just have to kind of unplug and plug in. They don't have to re-engineer a vehicle unless it's pre-October 2016, in which case Elon Musk has already said they're not going to do that because they'd have to have redundant steering, redundant power supplies, and a few other things that they don't have in those pre-October 2016 cars, which would require extensive modifications. Although I think it's possible, they're just drawing the line, just like it's possible to continue to support the original Roadster, but they're not going to do it. They've just decided that it doesn't make financial sense. And I think Elon is always, Elon Musk is the head of Tesla, if you guys don't know. He's always seemed to do things a little bit maybe more generous than is necessary or required, but maybe not because he takes so many risks. But I think that my own opinion is the board is continuing to tell him to take things away, right? Take away the free supercharging. Install the fair use supercharger policy. If you guys don't know what that is when you go to a supercharger, it has to be for personal use now, as of any vehicle produced after December of 2017. So mine is not subject to that. But so I can use it for ride sharing, I can use it for organizations, I can use it for business purposes, and I can use a supercharger. But if you try to do that on a vehicle built after December 2017, they will shut off your supercharging ability, which dramatically reduces the value of your vehicle because you no longer have that bundle of rights, those systems that Tesla has in place. And the supercharger system is another system that these cars have. So they've got this whole sensor suite to upgrade all the vehicles from 2016 October on. They've got the supercharging network they've had before that. It's free for many vehicles. They've got a policy where you can use superchargers for anything, but the new people cannot use it for even ride sharing, and Elon Musk doesn't touch on that. I'm a little bit concerned about the value of full self-driving vehicles going forward if you cannot access the Tesla Supercharger network for ride sharing, which is where you're going to make all your money, right? How it's going to be an appreciating asset. So in my mind, I've done videos on this before, the most valuable Teslas will probably be the ones that were built between October 2016 and ordered by December 31st. Some of them are built later. Like mine was actually built in March of 2017, but I ordered it before the cutoff, December 31st, 2016, so that me and any subsequent owner will get free supercharging, free electricity forever, and be able to use under the fair use supercharger policy. Now, if it changes hands, I don't know how the fair use supercharger policy works. I don't know if it applies to the vehicle or to when the ownership changed hands. And of course, in a lot of the new free supercharging, all the new free supercharging is only for the life of the original owner, or the time frame of the original ownership period, right? It's not forever. Like mine is forever for the vehicle, but of course they've done their actuarial work and they know that so many is going to be scrapped. That's the word I was thinking, scrapped. And so many are going to be, actually that's not the word I was thinking about earlier. It's another word. So many are going to be scrapped. So many are going to be destroyed beyond repair. That these very valuable Teslas are going to become smaller and smaller and smaller, which will not affect the company so much. It's great for me if I can hold on to it and it lasts that long, and I'm betting that that's going to happen. I really hope that does, because that means that my vehicle can go out and do ride sharing, and subsequent owners can go do ride sharing, and it's income. It's as long as I can fix the car, it's income with very, very little to no expenses. That's not none, but no fuel expenses, no electricity expenses, but very low ongoing costs. So if you do the math, you can think about it. That's what's going to happen. So, gosh, so many other things to talk about here. Gosh, what should I talk about next? Okay, where do I think the stock's going to go? Well, first of all, let's talk about something that happened that's in the news recently about the stock, which is ARK Investing, ARK. They've been big proponents of Tesla stock going to like $8,000 a share, and they've been calling that recently. Apparently, they sold like a quarter of their holdings back in the fourth quarter of 2019, which seems ridiculous because most of the Tesla gains happened in January. Anybody knows anything about that, let me know. But that is just really weird. There's a lot of profit taking going on. People are not sure what to do. I mean, of course, we're also due for a market correction in general because we haven't had one in like 12 years or whatever, however long it's been now. 11 years, I think. Longest and strongest bull market ever. And I think we are definitely due for a crash. I don't know what that's going to mean. Personally, I think and hope that the next crash is going to result because of all kinds of industry disruption, whether that is the switch to self-driving vehicles and electric vehicles, which Tesla is the forefront on, and or the switch to the plant-based lifestyle. And of course, I've got a nonprofit on that, away from animal products. I think those two disruptions, which are kind of going about the same level right now, are going to create havoc in the next market crash. I think that folks, organizations, businesses that have not embraced these new things or are not leaders or at the forefront of that are going to suffer greatly. And when I say suffer greatly, I mean, plummeting stock prices, of course, because everything's overvalued. Everything's valued now, I think, at the point where they think that these things are going to continue or they'll have viable businesses going forward. But I think a lot of these are not going to be valuable businesses. They're going to end up just lose. Some of these companies have not innovated. They've been resting on their laurels. This is what happened to the U.S. automotive industry in the 1980s. And it's kind of ironic that all that did happen and Japan took over. Japan has not been innovating. The Japanese cars of today, in my mind, are just like the American cars of the 80s. And, of course, United States of America is on the comeback here. Tesla, being an American company, probably the most American cars there are on the road today in terms of a percentage of parts made in America. America is taking back the automotive industry, which is amazing to me, okay? Because the Japanese are becoming a victim of the same way the American auto industry was victimized by the Japanese in the 80s, which is they failed to innovate. They've all failed to innovate. The only thing Japanese cars have nowadays, in my mind, is some flashy, ridiculously weird-looking designs, some of which are maybe a little cool, like the Civic Si Type R or whatever, but most of them are just wacky and weird, and I wouldn't want to be seen in them. That's just my opinion. Just like some of the American cars, like in the 80s, all they had going for them was some weird, quirky styling changes from year to year. They didn't have anything else good going for them. No innovation, a lack of innovation, resting on their laurels. So I think that Tesla's taking advantage of that too. I think folks in the market are finally realizing that. So there's two things going on. Tesla is benefiting from all of this because folks in the market are realizing slowly this is happening. This is happening as more and more people start driving Teslas, owning Teslas. I mean, if you've driven a Tesla, if you've even rode in a Tesla, you can't stop talking about it. There's so many different features, whether it's the Falcon wing doors in the Model X, the lightning fast speed of any of the cars, especially the performance versions of Model 3, S, and X. The Model Y is about to come out, SUV, small SUV. It's the biggest market in the automotive industry right now, and that will probably be the biggest seller for Tesla. And, of course, Tesla does no advertising, which is the other thing. Okay, you got people like me making videos and having YouTube channels that have a high percentage of their videos dedicated to talking about Tesla, but Tesla doesn't do any advertising. You don't have any budget. I mean, look at all these. If you watch the Super Bowl, which I didn't watch, I'm not a sports fan. I'm not a sports fan. I don't watch sports. I'll participate in them. If there's a really good game, I'll watch it, but that's it. I don't do any of that regularly, but I do know the Super Bowl is a big ad bowl almost, right? People pay millions of dollars for these ads. And what were most of the big ads this year? They were for electric vehicles. And do most of these companies even have these electric vehicles for sale? No, they don't. So they're already behind in a timeline. They're behind in a technology line as well, because I think most people will agree that Tesla is at least 3 years ahead of everyone, probably more like 6, and many people say more like 10 years ahead of all the competition in terms of their innovation. And of course, they keep innovating. They are relentlessly innovating. They are like Lexus used to be the relentless pursuit of perfection. That's Tesla now. Lexus is not that anymore. Lexus perfected their craft, their product back in like 1990, okay? Or 1991, probably the peak of the Japanese domination in my mind. It's all been downhill since then. Maybe 91, 92 was it, and then it's just been downhill. But they stopped innovating. They stopped perfecting. Tesla's doing that now. Tesla's running away with all this stuff. And back to the Super Bowl ads, they're millions and millions of dollars. Tesla didn't spend one dime, nothing on any of this stuff. And it's just word of mouth. As the Model 3 is like the hottest vehicle out there on the road right now, more and more people are finding out about it. There's more and more demand. Everyone wants to buy one now. It's crazy. And if there's no advertising, if you don't realize this, listen to me again. All this demand, all this talk, and Tesla's not spending any money on traditional advertising. Another disruption. They're disrupting the advertising industry, but that's more of a social media thing, I think. The freedom of social media, the freedom of speech that comes with social media, YouTube. A lot of people think it's bad, but those are people that have, I think, a lot of self-control problems. I think it's bad, and then watch others who have self-control problems. And it is bad, if that's the case, okay? Or you can leverage it and make it amazingly good like Tesla has done. I mean, look what they've done with like $0 budget. It's crazy. And it's not like they've got some big ad campaign lined up because they want to keep their lead. No. All that money is going into engineering and research. That's the other thing you guys have got to realize. It's going into cost cutting. I mean, if you look at the previous headlines, they're constantly saying, oh, Tesla's slashing 10% of their workforce. And they are. And that's great. That is a great, great business method. You always want to cut away the bottom 10%. You always want to do that. You don't want to keep them because you spend like 40% of your time or 50% of your time dealing with the worst 10% of your business. And that worst 10% is not making you any money. In fact, they're losing you money. So on every level, you should be constantly shedding away, getting rid of that stuff. And Tesla is doing that. They know exactly what they're doing. Others are using this as fear, saying, oh my gosh, they're not doing it now, but they did like a year ago, 2 years ago. Tesla's going bankrupt. They have to cut their workforce. No, they don't have to cut their workforce, but they should. They always should be cutting their workforce all the time. You either do well or you get let go. That's the way it should be in just about any business if you want to stay competitive. And if you want to innovate, and if you want to keep thinking forward, you've got to get rid of that dead wood at the bottom. You've got to. I mean, that's just wise business sense. That's what that is. So anyway, Tesla's been doing that, and let's see, what else am I saying? Gosh, so many different points that we can make. Yeah, the Japanese, they have not innovated. Okay, cost cutting. That's right. Let's go. That was workforce cutting. Let's go to cost cutting. Tesla's constantly slashing costs every which way they possibly can. Now, they don't need to because they're so far ahead of everyone, right? Like we said, they're either 3 years, 6 years, 10 years ahead of everyone, but they know that they look in the rearview mirror and everyone is running behind trying to catch up. And Elon Musk is obviously probably one of the most competitive people in the world. And if you want to learn, follow us more, actually, I think it's Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos that are the most competitive people ever. And I made a Facebook group dedicated to that. And actually, it's kind of funny because somebody on the YouTube channel made a video with my exact name after I created this group like a month or two, because I thought it was a really cool idea. It's called Elon Musk versus Jeff Bezos. Look it up on Facebook. Elon Musk and versus spelled VS period. Elon Musk VS period. Jeff Bezos. And that's all we're talking about, because these guys know how to innovate. They know how to do new things. They know how to do things regardless of what people are saying, because, of course, everyone's been saying all along with Amazon and with Tesla, they're going to go bankrupt. They're taking too many risks, et cetera, et cetera. But what's probably going to happen if they can do it right, which I think they are, both of them, is that most people are going to find one day when they wake up that, holy crap, they've just completely taken away the purpose of my business. That's what's going to happen. I think that's what's going to cause the next stock market crash. Because people, and this is happening quickly, like I said, Tesla stock was, if you followed some of my videos, it was less than $200 a share in June of 2019. I should have bought more. There was so much fear when that happened. I just couldn't do it. But I should have bought more. Now it's almost $1,000 a share. And this is a company that was already worth billions of dollars. It was already one of the top automotive companies in the world. Went from less than $200 a share to almost $1,000 a share since June. Okay, this is like what the kind of performance you might expect from some amazing brand new startup that no one's heard of. Not some company that's been around for a while now. So why is this happening? Hopefully you're listening to all the things that I'm saying, because people, I think the reason why the stock is going up is because people are realizing what I'm saying. People are realizing that the other companies, I mean, I know that people say, gosh, there's the scarcity model, right? There's room for everyone. Well, no, there's not room for everyone if the market is changing, if the ways of the past are being replaced by the ways of the future. There is not room for everyone. Okay, I'll always agree. There's always room for new people to get into a business, but there's going to be mostly losers. Most businesses fail. 4 out of 5 businesses fail within the first few years. And even if you've been an established company, I mean, again, look what happened to the U.S. auto industry in the 80s. Why did it happen? It's because they failed to innovate. This is happening again in so many industries. I think it's happening, I mean, especially with large-scale established ICE companies, automotive companies. It's a big, giant ship. It's hard to turn. Now, like if we're talking about the plant-based movement, like I was saying, versus the animal product movement, which is on the way out, it's easier to do that if you're a restaurant or something. You can just add plant-based options. It's easier to do that. But in the automotive industry or self-driving or this whole new market segment, it's going to be there's going to be a lot of carnage. It's going to be very, very difficult to get out of this. Elon Musk has known what he's doing. I mean, why else do you think if you know anything about him, he's cast aside everything else to focus on this. Why? Because he realizes what's going to happen. He realizes where the point of technology is. He's also realized, like most people don't realize, that what you need to do in order to be able to accomplish these things is you need to go in and you need to actually launch something before it's ready. Okay, that's definitely what they did with the original Roadster, which is a proof of concept. That's definitely what they did even with the Model S and other models. I know people complain, oh, there's delays, this, that. It's not like they're launching a model when it's perfect. There's all kinds of issues with these cars. They're all fixable, but they just want to get out, get the experience, get the products in the market, get people realizing why these are so much better when they work, and they do work most of the time. I mean, let's put it this way. I mean, the cars in general are very, very reliable these days. More reliable than they've ever been, I would say. And then when you move to electric, you're going to get into a whole other level of reliability, because if you can just match the level of ICE cars, which have thousands and thousands of moving parts, with an electric car, which has hardly any moving parts, if you match it right away, which they already have, Tesla already did that right away going into this. And like I said, even though they did, it wasn't perfect. You don't want to wait. You got to launch it immediately. Now they're starting to perfect everything as they go. Their cars are becoming incredibly reliable. They're developing their own internal company systems, and they're cutting costs. That's the other part I want to get to. They're slashing costs. They're slashing costs so aggressively that they're keeping all the competitors out. Every time a competitor launches a new model, you just look at the specs and you're like, oh, this is no better than the Model S sedan that Tesla launched in 2012. Oh, and by the way, this car costs like a third to double of what Tesla's better car costs today right now. Okay, I hope you guys heard what I said. This is why the stock is almost $1,000 a share. It's because of this type of advantage that Tesla has. They can do it for a good bit less money, sometimes dramatically. I mean, look at the difference between the Porsche Taycan and the Tesla Model S, and that's just a Model S you can buy today. The Porsche is, as they say, a performance car. Tesla's performance model really isn't really out, I don't think, not yet. They have a performance Model S, but we all know that there's another higher level performance Model S that's in development that's going to just blow the doors off the performance Model S and the Porsche Taycan. We know that, and that's imminently going to be released. And of course, what's going to happen? It's probably going to cost less money, probably dramatically less money. I mean, already the performance Model S, which pretty much matches the Taycan in terms of all levels of performance, all categories, is half the price. Okay, say it. Let that sink in. Half the price. And you know why? It's not because the Model S was always half the price. The Model S used to be like $150,000 for that model. Now it's like $90,000 for that model, whereas the Porsche is $180,000 for their equivalent model. You don't have to be a rocket scientist like Elon Musk. He's not even a rocket scientist. He hires rocket scientists to know that this is a significant advantage. It's more than a significant advantage. It is a paradigm-shifting advantage. It is a game-changing advantage. It is a industry-disrupting advantage, and there's going to be a tremendous, mark my words, tremendous amount of carnage out there in the very near future from traditional ICE auto manufacturers. There is no way to get around this. They are so burdened down by their dealer networks, by their lack of innovation, by their high costs. I think some people say that that's what destroyed the auto industry in the 80s was the unions, okay? Tesla has mostly successfully held off the unions too, because with their idea of innovation and we're doing something different, something better, and they are. They always have been. It's just that the average Joe, the average Jane are now suddenly starting to realize that in a very, very rapid period of time, and hence the stock jumping up. So, do I think you should short Tesla stock? I guess if you're a day trader and an incredible risk taker, sure, go ahead. But I bought most of mine with an average share price of like, I don't know, $220, $230 a share, and we're almost at $1,000 a share. I am not selling, okay, because I recognize the kind of lead that Tesla has. I recognize the systems that are in the car, and we didn't even talk all about the systems. The sensor suite, the internet connectivity, there's more to it than that, and all my other videos talk about that, but it is just industry leading. Nobody else has it in any of their cars. Forget their entire fleet of cars. Right now, Tesla's entire fleet of cars, let's say like almost all their fleet, because anything built before 2016 was a very small amount of cars compared to what they're building and what they've built since then, and what they're building on a monthly basis for that matter right now. They're just cranking them out. Here, China, they're building the Gigafactory in Germany. They're acquiring other companies. They are leveraging everything that they have to try to have the longest lasting vehicles. And by the way, and I've done videos on this too, these vehicles, people are going to suddenly realize, I don't think this is even factored into the price yet. People are going to realize at some point, I've said this to people, it is true. These vehicles have a shelf life of 1 million miles. I don't care if the batteries don't last 1 million miles right now. I don't care if the motors don't last 1 million miles right now. Just swap out your battery pack, swap out your motor, and drive another 500,000 miles. Because that chassis and everything else is going to last you 1 million miles because everything else is so much simpler. There's not a bazillion parts that they're going to stop making over time, okay? The technology, the computer systems, it's just a computer on wheels with multiple computers to change out the boards, change out the computer, no problem. And actually, when you change it out, you'll have a newer, more upgradable system, right? My only pet peeve with this is that I own an MCU1. If you know about MCU1, Master Control Unit 1, it's the center console. Let me flip it around here. Center console here, this big screen. Right behind here is the MCU1. And I have the original one, so it's kind of slow, and that bothers me. And originally, I think Elon Musk said that there would be an upgrade available to MCU2 because, like I said, my car, I think, falls into that most valuable category. I think Tesla knows this. Their actuaries know it. Elon Musk knows it. The board of directors knows it. And now they don't want to let me have MCU2 because that would make my car go on almost indefinitely. Okay? If I could upgrade from MCU1 to MCU2, because it's already showing its age. It already did actually when I bought it, of being slow. Because it's the same computer chip that was in the 2012 Model S. It was in my 2017 car. They didn't even change it until 2018, I think, at some point. They changed to MCU2. But that was after they got rid of the unlimited supercharging for the life of the vehicle and only give it to the life of the original owner, et cetera, et cetera. Layers and layers of taking away grandfathered stuff. So I think there's going to be an upgrade for that. If you guys know, let me know. But anyway, probably the reason they're saying no is to keep stock price up because they know that these cars are going to be, these certain month cars, and I've told this to a number of people, I'm telling you guys now, don't say nobody told you, these certain month cars that were built in those few months there at the end of 2016 and or ordered and built in early 2017, they're going to be the most valuable Teslas going forward. And it's because of the systems. It's because of the, the new type of an asset that Tesla has created here. And I also think that one of the other reasons why the stock price is going up is because people are realizing that, hey, this stuff is actually going to work. It's probably going to work. That's what people are realizing. I think just a few years ago, people were like, this is never going to work. This guy is crazy. I still hear people say today that this company is going to crash and burn. I don't believe that. I think that this is just groundbreaking stuff. It's all new systems. And I think that the company out there right now, Tesla, is kind of like how the internet was when the internet first came out. It's like the Wild West. You go out there and take what you can take, get what you can get. It's what Amazon has used, right? Slash their costs, sell everything as cheap as you possibly can. And I know that Tesla cars are kind of expensive, but still, when you compare it to the competition, they are selling their cars cheap. They are absolutely selling their cars at the lowest price possible, probably lower than they should. And a study just came out saying that the Model 3, a new Model 3, has the lowest depreciation rate of any vehicle on the road, 3% after the first year. 3%! Now, why? It's because they're selling these cars at the absolute lowest possible cost they can, and it's incredible, incredible value. You don't need, when people recognize something is an incredible, incredible value, you don't need any advertising. You don't need to say anything. You just look at the resale value like that. You look at the fact that they don't need to advertise at all, period. You look at the fact that like the Model 3 is like the most lowest cost of ownership vehicle out there, pretty much. The most popular car out there, the hottest vehicle out there, and the Model Y has not even been released yet. The Model Y is a small SUV based on the Model 3 platform. Like I said earlier in this video, small SUVs are the biggest, hottest sector of the market, and Tesla doesn't even have a car in there yet, and their stock is already at almost $1,000 a share. When I say not a car in there yet, I mean no one's driving one on the road yet. But once they release them, they're probably going to build more Tesla Model Ys than they will every other single model combined, potentially. Like Model 3, Model S, and Model X, which is what I have. Anyway, what are your guys' comments on this? What do you think? Very interested to find out. Please comment, and please actually go to my YouTube channel, adigitalnomad.net, and comment over there. I know this is a long video. I could just go on for hours about this because it's so complex. The web of systems that Elon Musk and Tesla have implemented successfully and have had out there for a few years now, and it's finally reaching maturity, is just amazing. That's what this is all about. This is why the stock is high. Name another company that has anything like this, because I don't think you can, except for maybe Amazon, but they're based on the traditional web, and I guess now, they started out with traditional web, like, when I say traditional web, I mean like desktop, laptop computers. They've transitioned to mobile, but Tesla is all mobile. Tesla is not about that traditional web. They are like Web 2.0, reaching maturity and leveraging and utilizing every system they can think of to take advantage of that internet connectivity. And of course, what's coming out next? I know people say it kills birds, but 5G. That is, I think, the key that, my battery is running low. Oh, my phone might die. Actually, let me see if I can, let me flip this around and plug my battery in here while I'm talking to you. My whole life is about battery charging now. And let me show you, by the way, I get this problem with my Model X. Look, it's, see the yellowing? These are problems. Teslas definitely have problems. They have vibration problems. They got all kinds of things going wrong, but they're fixing them. They're upgrading them. And okay, what was I going to talk about? 5G, right? Okay, yeah. Okay, let me try to turn I'm turning my little inverter on. If you hear that, that's my inverter. So I can keep talking to you guys. 5G is what everyone thinks. If you look at the history of self-driving cars and how people think self-driving is going to work. Oh man, that's what's making all kinds of noise. 5G is what people are saying is going to be... High computing power is also necessary. And of course, Tesla has launched their cars in advance of this. Like I was saying, you've got to do it not when it's all ready. You've got to do it in advance when it's not ready. You've got to launch it then. And Elon Musk knows this. I think Jeff Bezos knows this. So they didn't have the super powerful computers for full self-driving, yet they launched it anyway. And that's what got me to buy the car, because I could buy this option called full self-driving and pay for it now, and they would upgrade me later. That's what they told me in writing when I bought the thing anyway. So I was like, okay, here's your extra $4,000, whatever it is for that, and let's finance it at like 1.5% or whatever the ridiculously low rate was that I got, and that's what we're doing. That's what I'm doing. That's what got me to buy the car when I did. That, combined with all the free electricity for life with the superchargers and all that. We got to talk about the Supercharger Network. This is another thing. These facets are just this is what's driving the stock. So anyway, they launched it before the computers were ready, so now they just plug in the new computer. And of course, everyone's saying, oh, this is never going to happen, never going to happen. Now I think people are believing, yeah, this is going to happen. And, let me go back to the Supercharger Network. Supercharger Network, there was no Supercharger Network when Tesla launched the Model S in 2012. But that has gone into its own thing too, and they've doubled down, they've tripled down, they've doubled the network over the last 2 years. I'd say absolutely doubled in size. Now I can actually tow, which you guys have probably seen. I can tow now because I couldn't tow. When I say tow, I mean long distance towing. Everything I do is long distance. I could long distance drive when I got my car, which some people still don't believe you can do efficient long distance driving with electric vehicles, but you can. And then towing. Some people still don't believe you can tow with an electric vehicle. They definitely don't believe you can tow long distance with an electric vehicle, but I'm doing that. And thanks to their ramping up of new supercharger locations, it's falling in place just at the right time so that I'm able to do this. And the only thing they don't have yet is pull-through drive-through superchargers. We absolutely need drive-through superchargers because it's just crazy unhooking my trailer every time I need to charge. Yeah, that's how it is. If you guys aren't not familiar, they don't have any drive-through, so either I got to pull in diagonally and hopefully only block a supercharger or two in the middle of the night when no one's there, which I definitely do. That's my preferred method right now. Or I got to unhook the trailer. So that's no fun. How many think? What else can I talk about? I brought up so many points. I'm doing all the stream of consciousness. I don't have any notes or outlines for this, but I just felt it's an important video to make because we're reaching that key $1,000 share mark. And if you haven't invested in Tesla and thought it was a pyramid scheme, maybe, I don't know. What are you thinking now? Let me know in the comments. I mean, like I said, I'm totally surprised it went up this fast, this quickly. And even some of the believers, like ARK Invest, have bailed out. You know, people are saying people are cashing out, but I would not recommend shorting the stock right now. I think that, I don't know. I mean, you think that if the next stock market crash happens, which it will, and it will happen very soon, that it might bring all stocks down with it. But if there's a disruptor and you know, an innovator here like Tesla that's going to be the one that puts everyone else out of business, because they are, then I don't know. I don't think the stock. They're just going to own that much more of the market, and it's not like a traditional automaker either. You know, you can't value it the same way. You've got this new form of asset. That's funny. I haven't had to drink anything now. Now my voice is bothering me. So let me think before I end this video. All right, how about this? When do you guys think Tesla stock's going to jump over $1,000 this year? Type that date in the comments. What date are we on? The 20th of February, 19th, 20th. My hand was in the way. There we go. I have to look at my watch. It's on my right hand today. If it was on my left hand, I had no problem. Truly, I think it might cross over $1,000 before the weekend. That's my thought. Tomorrow, maybe. February 21st, 2020, which is why I'm making this video here. And who knows? Maybe I drop to 500. It might take 3 years to get back up to this level. But something else you guys need to know, if you don't know already, is that Elon Musk really doesn't take any kind of a salary from Tesla, or a very minimal salary. Almost all of this compensation, from what I understand, is tied to the performance of Tesla stock. And the board of directors has set some ridiculously high thresholds for this performance, some ridiculously high share value numbers for Tesla stock. If you know what those are, please comment. I just don't remember what they are. But this is what's driving Elon Musk. I mean, you got to incent the right things. You got to motivate people the right way. It's all about incenting and motivating people. Even the biggest geniuses in the world, like Elon Musk, need to be motivated properly, or they're not going to perform. And that's why he's performing, because I think that most CEOs of automotive companies have giant salaries and a nice golden parachute or some other kind of stock package. But Elon Musk, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, has just a massive positive incentive for him to shoot Tesla stock through the roof value-wise, and very, very little ongoing compensation from the company, which is another reason why they're doing what they're doing. You need to be thinking that way. You need to be doing it just because you want to do it. And yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm still surprised that it's gone this high this quick, but I expect it to continue to rise. I don't see anyone that's a competitor. So if you guys know of someone that's a true competitor to Tesla, that's really like right on the heels, that's really gonna be like, you know, Coke to Pepsi, right? Who's the competitor to Tesla? Who? That's what I don't see. And because I don't see something like that, I'm inclined to believe that the valuation is correct that we see there in the stock right now, and that's why I'm not selling anything. If I thought that we were in a bubble, I would sell. And like I said, I'm not a Tesla fanboy. Well, I'm a Tesla fan, but not a fanboy. A fanboy is like a whole other level, I think. That's just me. I am not in the Tesla church. I've done videos on that. What is the Tesla church? Well, that's, you know, those that think Elon Musk is our Lord and Savior. I'm not in that either. But this is just a very, very unique time in watching this company. And I think that people will look back 10 years from now, 20 years from now, at these few months here when the stock just rocketed, as the time when the pendulum just swung, you know, swung from those traditional ways of driving, traditional ways of selling vehicles, traditional companies, fossil fuels, everything. All of that is just, you know, is just swinging right now. We're watching the swing happen. And again, this is why I made that emergency video a week or two ago. That's why I'm making this video now. I guess, you know, I'm making this follow-up video now because I wasn't sure. I was like, well, what is this? You know, is this some bubble? Somebody, everyone sell. All the shorts are being burned, and they were. The shorts were burned. That was most of the subject of my video the last time was, oh, the shorts are getting burned. We all knew that was going to happen at some point, but it's still, the valuation is still there. And in addition to the valuation still being there, the valuation is continuing to creep up. And I do think that And I think construction, because Model 3 and Model Y Japanese cars in the 80s, because they're not Model 3, I get thinner, more. What's something that's going to last be solvable? To be the ones between Teslas. They were known on forever and ever trying to get kind of developed or something like that. Swing, economy, collapse. Tesla, I think Amazon's only going to continue very near my mind. But look, I bought this Tesla car. This is the most incredibly expensive car I've ever bought by a long shot, but I see the value in it. I've never seen the value in Apple stuff, okay? That's just me. But I think that eventually people are going to realize that too, and they're going to start to fall. That's my opinion. I know they're like the first $1 trillion company or something, or that maybe they're not, but they will be soon, but I think that's going to change. I think that their time is about to reach an end, and I think that Tesla's time is only beginning. And even with Amazon too, even though Amazon's been around a lot longer, I think that Amazon's time is only just beginning. I think that they're going to be impacting things positively and in a huge way in the very near future. So let me think of anything else I could tell you guys. Well, if you guys aren't familiar, this is also for maybe more newbies. Tesla's already got a Tesla semi truck, new Tesla Roadster, which will be the absolute top performance vehicle in the world when it comes out. And of course, the Cybertruck, the biggest pickup truck launch ever, the Cyber Quad. They're launching their 5G Starlink satellite service later this year. It's supposed to be. Oh, by the way, what kind of time frame do you think that's going to be? Because when that 5G Starlink satellite system comes out, that's going to be another pipeline they're going to own. They're owning so many pipelines in this process, so many systems, so many. Again, that's part of the bundle of rights. If they take advantage of that for the Tesla cars, that's going to be another thing that adds value to every single Tesla product, which is just going to increase their worth in the marketplace. And another reason why the stock keeps going up, because you can't even buy, right now, the only way you can invest in Elon Musk as a private individual without any kind of extra special access is to buy Tesla stock. Right now, it's the only way. They say they're going to issue some stock, some public stock, go public with Starlink, I think, 5G, the satellite service. But that remains to be seen. But if they do, are you going to buy it? I mean, I think I'm going to buy it. I don't know what the offering price is going to be, but with the way, it may not be good to buy it at IPO with the way things. So anyway, that completes my video. I know there's a few thoughts. I'm just trying to bounce them in my head and make sure I've got everything. I know I probably have missed a few, but this is it. I look forward to reading your comments, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you want to learn more. We're always talking about this kind of stuff. This is so interesting to me, and it's the future. It's the way everything's going to be in the near future, and I think that the Tesla stock price, the skyrocketing Tesla stock price, is just really reiterating that fact that this is it. The paradigm shift is happening, and we are witnessing it. Thanks a lot. Have a good day. Bye.